Hey, Molly, what you eating?
A lollipop. It's so good.
Oh, yeah? What flavor?
Marshmallow cotton candy bubblegum swirl. My fave.
Sounds sweet.
Oh, yeah. It's so sweet and delicious. I wish everything tasted this good.
Do you know why it's sweet?
Of course. It's made of sugar. I love sugar. I am seriously sugar crazy.
Lots of people are. But here's a question for you. Why does sugar taste sweet?
That I don't know.
What about you, Smarty Pants? Do you know why sugar tastes sweet? Yeah, okay. Those are some good ideas. Well, here's another question. Is sugar good for you?
I'm pretty sure it isn't. My mom says it's bad for you, and my dentist wants to cry every time she looks in my mouth. But why would something bad for you taste so good?
Great question, Molly. Why would something bad for you taste so good? And when we say sugar's bad for you, what exactly do we mean? What does it do to your teeth, or your insides, or your brain? Why do we use so much sugar in things? And how much sugar is too much sugar? It's time for another whiff of science on
Who smarted? Who's smarted? Who's smart? Is it you? Is it me? Is it science or history? Listen up, everyone. We make smarting lots of fun on Who Smarted.
Sugar is as American as apple pie. Well, why? Because apple pie is full of sugar.
Ah,
Most Americans eat about 17 teaspoons of sugar a day.
whoa.
That's in spite of the government recommending we eat only about 12 teaspoons.
Wait, people eat sugar by the spoonful? Why didn't I think of that?
Whoa, hang on. That's just how we measure how much sugar is in food. Fun fact, sugar is in lots of different foods.
Huh?
Not just obvious things like lollipops or other sweet treats. It's also in bread, ketchup, canned sauces, chips.
Some of those things aren't even sweet.
Nope, but the sugar makes them taste more appealing. And there are lots of different kinds of sugar. There's maple syrup,
Of course. I love it on pancakes.
corn syrup,
Made from corn?
you betcha. Also, honey, agave, and fructose, the kind of sugar that's in fruit.
Yeah, but I prefer fruit-flavored lollipops to actual fruit.
Of course you do. The kind of sugar you're thinking of when I say sugar is called sucrose or table sugar, which is a combination of fructose and another sugar called glucose. And it comes from a plant called sugarcane, or Saccharum officinarum.
Officina what?
It's a kind of tropical grass.
My lollipop's made of grass?
Kind of.
So where does this grass grow?
Let's take a little trip and see. Originally, it came from Southeast Asia, but now it grows in lots of warm, wet places like Florida, Hawaii,
Aloha.
and Cuba. Here's some now.
Wow, that's some really tall grass.
Yup, it can grow up to 15 feet.
Hello up there, Saccharum officinarum.
Hello down there, Molly. Do you have any questions for me?
I was not expecting it to talk. But since it is, how did people figure out that big, tall grass like you is actually the most delicious thing in the world?
That's a great question. As it turns out, people have used me for lots of things, not just as a sweetener. I started out as a medicine. Sometimes people use my leaf ash for sore eyes and my stem juice for sore throats and snake bites. But what you know me for is sweet sap in my stem. People sometimes drink it right out of me. Here, have a sip.
Whoa, that's delicious.
My juice can become syrup, or it can be dried and turned into white, powdery sugar you know and love.
Ah,
But that's not all. Sugar can be turned into alcohol, and it can even be fuel for engines. And the stem of the grass makes a waxy substance that's sometimes used for things like shoe polish or furniture. It's a very versatile plant.
but how did it go from being a plant used in medicine to something we all love to eat?
So glad you asked. Starting around 10,000 years ago, people in New Guinea started chewing on me for the sweet taste. Next, I started growing in the Philippines and India, where I was boiled to remove the yucky tasting parts in a process called chemical refining. At that point, I was still considered a rare and expensive spice rather than something people used every day on food.
Oh.
Then, when the Greeks and Romans visited India, they found out about me and brought me over to Europe, where I was mostly used for medicines. Then, about the year 500, some folks in the Middle East started figuring out how to turn me into a powder. And instead of just being a medicine or a spice, sugar became known as a royal food.
A delicacy.
That's right, a delicacy. A very rare and special treat for only the lucky few.
Amazing.
Once upon a time, people used to value sugar so much, they kept it locked up in safes.
They treated sugar like gold?
Yep, it was quite valuable. Eventually, it made its way to the Western world, and people started putting it in all kinds of foods.
Hey!
And when tea and coffee and chocolate started being shipped to Europe in the 1600s, there was more demand for sugar too.
Oh yeah, my mom loves sugar in her coffee.
Exactly. Now, I know Mr. Sugarcane over here is a nice guy,
Thank you. Appreciated.
but if you'll allow me, I'd like to give a brief presentation on how and why sugar is bad for you.
It always comes to this.
You're just gonna ruin my day, aren't you?
I know. Everybody likes the taste of sugar, but nobody wants to hear the bad side. But trust me, it's important to know.
Go ahead. Give me the bad news.
Now, as I'm sure you know, sugar can give you a sugar rush, where all of a sudden you have tons of energy,
Uh-huh. That's when I do my homework.
which leads to a sugar crash.
Which is why I wake up with my math book on my face.
It can contribute to joint pain, and it can make your skin age faster.
Really? How old do I look?
It's not good for your liver. The sugar turns to fat there and can cause fatty liver disease.
None of those words sound fun.
Sugar can be bad for your heart, your pancreas, and your kidneys. And too much of it can even affect your arteries.
What are arteries?
They're the blood vessels that bring the nice oxygen-filled blood to different parts of your body.
I assume you'd want those to work well.
Yeah, you do. Sugar can make your artery walls thicker, which makes it harder for the blood to flow.
Oh.
It can be really bad for your heart if you eat too much of it. Oh, and it can also increase your likelihood of having acne.
Zits! Yikes!
And it's linked to some types of diabetes.
Wait a minute. If sugar is so bad for us, why do we eat it all the time?
Well, as you pointed out, it's delicious. Sugar tastes sweet. Or, more accurately, your brain interprets it as sweet.
You mean my tongue?
Well, it's really your brain and your tongue. You have taste receptors on your tongue, and some of them sense sweetness. And when you eat sugar, your receptors interact with the atoms in the sugar molecules, and your brain interprets the sensation as sweet.
Interesting.
And the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want.
Oh yeah.
That's because when you eat sugar, it releases a chemical in your brain called dopamine, which makes you feel good.
Woohoo!
Unfortunately, healthier foods like carrot sticks and hummus just don't give your body that same dopamine surge, even though they're better for you and make your body feel good.
Wait, so it's my brain's fault?
Yes, the more surges your brain has from sugar, the more it wants and the more sugar you need.
Ah.
That's why some people who eat lots of sugar get sugar cravings.
I know the feeling.
Of course, as bad as it is for your body, it's even worse for your teeth.
Oh boy. All right, let me have it.
Oh, I will, right after this quick message. Now back to Who Smarted. So, we were just talking about sugar, the food nobody needs, yet everybody wants, and why it's so bad for you.
You know, part of me just wants to eat my lollipop in peace. But another part of me knows I need to know this stuff. Go on.
Thank you, Molly. When you eat sugary foods, the sugar molecules combine with the water in your mouth, known as saliva, and the bacteria that lives in your mouth.
Wait, there's bacteria living in my mouth?
Oh yeah, they live in your mouth, on your skin, all over the place.
Ew!
Oh, it's perfectly natural. Anyway, when the sugar molecules, saliva, and mouth bacteria combine. They form a substance called plaque.
Ah.
And if you don't get that plaque off by flossing, brushing, and going to the dentist regularly, it can cause holes in your teeth called cavities.
I just went to the dentist. No cavities. Go me.
Great, but I'm sure you had plaque, which the dentist scraped off.
Is that what she was doing? She was scraping with that pointy thing for an hour. I hated it.
Well, you're lucky not to have any cavities, but if you keep eating lots of sugar, it's just a matter of time.
That's what the dentist and my mom said. So how do I have sugar and not get cavities or diabetes or heart and artery problems?
As with many things in life, Molly, the key is moderation.
Oh.
A little bit of sugar here and there won't hurt you.
This makes me sad. I'm like the friend you only want to see once a month because if we hang out too much, we get in a fight.
Aw, Sugarcane, don't feel bad. It's not your fault you taste so good that humans have a hard time not eating too much of you. Wait, Molly, what are you eating?
A lollipop.
After everything I just told you?
Relax. It's sugar-free. I got them from my dentist. Want one?
Yes, I just had 3 cavities. I can't afford any more. A big shout out to superfans Katie and Danny, listening to Who Smarted in Paris, Virginia. This episode, Sugar, was written by Lisa Sellen Davis and Athena Sherwin, and voiced by Gia Davis, Brandon Bayless, and Jerry Colbert. Technical direction and sound design by Josh Hahn. Who Smarted is recorded and mixed at the Relic Room Studios. Our associate producer is Max Kamaski. The theme song is by Brian Suarez, with lyrics written and performed by Adam Tex Davis. Who Smarted was created and produced by Adam Tex Davis and Jerry Colbert. This is an Atomic Entertainment production.
Sugar.